guys, this is Forrest here. We're going to look a little bit at how to sharpen a saw blade, especially a saw blade that is dull, like a chainsaw blade. And I'm going to get the light here. So what I have here is a Chicago Power Tools, pretty reasonably priced chainsaw sharpener, okay? And you set it up to where the chainsaw blade sharpener comes down right here like this. There's a lot of adjustments. So the adjustment here loosens or reduces the push. I want to make the chainsaw blade sharp just by bringing down the stone. And to do that, on the chainsaw blade sharpener there's a little trigger that actually tightens on the chain as it's being sharpened, okay? And then this little back deal prevents it from going back the opposite direction. And then the way the chainsaw blade sharpener is set up is every other blade is going to be sharpened. So I pull it past and then back, and then I just this is a little bit, I need to back it off a little bit, and then I just kind of bounce the stone against the blade so that it's not significant. Oh, wait a minute, first here I need to set this at the right angle. That's part of the problem. So all chainsaw blades for crosscut are right at 35 degrees, okay? And so when I bring down, there we go, that's a lot better. You see how that works, okay? So then I pull the trigger, tighten it down, and then the chainsaw blade is going to come right up against the sharpener blade is going to come up against the tooth, okay? So I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to go through and sharpen each of the blades at this angle, and then I'll come back the other direction. One thing about blades, if it's an Oregon blade, kind of the starting point is going to be where there are two teeth that go in the same direction. And so I'm going to pull it around here till I get to the starting point where two teeth go in the same direction. There, right there's one going in the direction, and there's the other, okay? So I'm going to take that as my starting point. It's also where there's a little bit of there's a chain link there. I'm going to go one past, and then like that. Now, while this is going, I'm going to try to shine the light. Let me see if I can get this light on there. Tap it, and then I get a better sharp effect on that. Every time that I go out into the field and use the blade for anything more than an hour, I'm going to come back in here and retouch the blade, and it makes the blade sharper, it keeps the saw working better, and makes everything so much easier. I have 2 or 3 blades for each of my saws. And actually right now I'm only running Echo CS400. I had another Echo CS590 and I sold it on eBay because it was just too much of a saw for what I needed right now. Okay, so I just hit it about 4 or 5 times, and then I come back. That's just going to sharpen up. I'm just touching up. I don't let my chains get real dull as compared to some people can touch them up out in the field. I'm not so much going to do that. I'm going to run a tank or 2 of gas, a tank of bar oil, and that's about an hour and a half on each of my saws. I'm going to carry a couple saws out to the field with me. It's going to run about an hour and a half on each of the saws, and that's all I can do in a day. Because by the time I have cut that amount of wood, pushed and dragged the brush out of the way, stacked the logs that I've cut, that's all I can do. Two saws, 2 tanks of gas, one tank per saw, and then I come back and I'm going to touch them up. I'm going to touch up the blades. Now I've gotten around to the starting point again. I'm going to go back here one. Now the way this works is I'm going to just rotate it around here to the other 35. I'm going to scoot my chair a little bit. Now this way is same thing. I'm going to come in here like this, and I'm going to hit the saw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Oh. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Go twice. There, I just hit both those teeth. There we go. It really only takes about 5 minutes at best to retouch up a blade, and that keeps me from doing any deep sharpening where I have to take a bunch of the blade off. That also keeps me, I can keep these things knocked down real easy with a file that way. There's a name for those, but anyway, I hope this is visible. Okay. Real fast, real touchy. Alright, so and you see right there, it makes it sharp. And I think there's a certain number of these teeth each direction. I'm just going to hit them real quick. And then I'll put back together my saw and I'll show you how that works. Okay. The sharp blade out in the field makes all the difference. I was cutting with a neighbor the other day, and they were using one of my saws, and the speed of the saw, they were just revving it, cutting hard. You don't have to rev the saw hard when you have a nice sharp blade, okay? You just have to work smarter, not harder with the blade.